All right, because universal screening is such an important part of a multi-tiered systems of support, let's go into it a little bit deeper, okay? So, repeating the definition, universal screening really is that systematic assessment of all students. This is typically a district level decision. It can be done building by building, but you want to make sure that you have administrative approval for many reasons. One, we want to make sure that the screening that is done, if it's done, matches the values within the community. We also want to make sure that there are supports and processes in place because logistically screening can be difficult. So you want to make sure that there are resources like a data system that can help support this, the staffing that can help support this, who's going to be doing what, when is the data going to be collected, scheduling. All of these things are really important to making sure that screening is done effectively, efficiently, and in a way that really meets the needs of all the students within the school. So, again, all students within a school building or a school district in all domains, so academic and or behavioral social emotional indicators, and that school personnel and the community and families have agreed the indicators that are tested are important. So why would we do it? First and foremost, screening is proactive. Um, we now have data to show that using only office referrals for behavioral screening has the potential to miss students who may need additional support, especially for students who have internalizing behaviors, do not ask for help academically. So we want to make sure that we are catching students in any way that we can, and we'd rather catch more than we need. So over identify than under identify. It's not going to harm a student to be identified and not need the approach or not need the support, right? We also want to make sure that we have equity in mind and that we're providing students with equal access to interventions. So in tiers 1, 2, and 3, any of the interventions can be for any student as long as they have that need. The information from behavior and social skills screening can really inform instruction, same for academic screening. Um, when we have those results, we know specific areas that we can target for students at tiers 2 and tiers 3. Academic and behavior data combined allow for decision making that are going to support that whole student and make sure needs in each of the domains are met, and that systematically we can use overall risk data to drive decision making at all tiers. Now, one key piece of information, this will be repeated in course content too, is that although universal screening is a very, very key piece of data, it's a proactive piece of data, so you don't have to wait to fail. Um, it is only one piece of data, and it should not be the only piece of data. Once we have the initial results to show which students fall at moderate to high risk, or have academic needs in specific areas, we need to ensure that we have other data points to help drive the appropriate interventions. So some best practices to keep in mind, again, all students. We want to measure that overall level of risk over time. So we're really looking at this at a universal level too. Universally, how are our students doing in math, in reading, in writing, in behaviorally and social emotionally? This allows us to make sure that our core curricula are meeting the needs of our students, right? But it also helps to identify students who are going to need some additional supports. So either some more targeted supports in tiers 2 or tier 3 in academics, behavior, or social emotional. Universal screening is documented aligned to academic screening data, so it happens 3 times a year in the fall, around 2 to 3 weeks for academics, 4 to 6 weeks for behavior, so that you have time to observe the student and their behavior. And then prior to winter break, and then spring, 6 to 8 weeks prior to the end of the year. By October, students should be in an intervention if they have that need. And then we progress monitor and provide benchmarking data